Okay, today I'd like to tie Barnes Hairy Leg Sow Bug, aka the shitty fly. A few years ago I went down to the Little Red River, fished out of the Ozark Angler Fly Shop, and I had a guide by the name of George Barn, B-O-R-N. George was an outstanding guide and really a nice gentleman. He tied this fly, and it's a guide fly. It's a very quick tie, very easy tie. We fished it for several days down there and did very well on the Little Red. To tie this, I'm going to be using a hook, a scud hook in size 14. You can either tie it in a 14 or a 16. On the hook, I have on the shank I have a tungsten bead. You can also use a brass bead. This is a 7/64 natural, and behind that I have a number of turns of 05 1500s lead. To tie this, I'm going to be using a gray thread. 8/0 and below is fine. Start the thread behind the lead to hold it in place. Make a few wraps through the lead and then down the shank. I'm going down around the bend. I'm not going to stop the traditional place there by the barb. Okay, to give this some ribbing and a little bit of strength, I'm going to be using some monofilament. This happens to be 2X. You can use anywhere from 2X down to 5X. I'm going to tie it in right behind the lead. And on down the bend. Okay, for the body of the fly, I'm going to be using some Wapsi. It's a number 260 sow bug dubbing. It's a gray, it looks a little brownish gray here, but it's a gray dubbing, a light gray. And I'm going to try to dub a little bit of a tapered body with my dubbing. We don't need too much each time. Less is best is the old adage, so I'm going to be using less. I like to use a little water tub sitting on my desk with a sponge in it so I can wet my fingers to make the dubbing rope a little more solid. Okay, as I said, we don't need much. We want to keep the body fairly slim. A little bit too thick there. Okay, we'll bring the dubbing up and we'll leave just a little space behind the bead. Okay, I'll bring my ribbing forward. We'll tie it off. Okay, at this point I'm going to put in a half hitch just to hold what I've got in place. Okay, for the hackle on this fly, I'm going to be using some Hungarian partridge. I'm going to prepare the feather by stripping off one side. And holding the concave side towards me, take my scissors and cut off the barbules on the right hand side. And this will give me something that looks like this. Okay, now I have it prepared. I'm going to tie it in by the tip. Clip off that little tip. Okay, I'll take my hackle pliers and I'll make a couple sparse turns of the partridge. Notice the hackle is just a little bit longer than the body itself, maybe a half again the length of the shank. Okay, we'll clip off the stem. And let's clean up the head just a little bit. Okay, we can form a nice head. And we'll whip finish. Got our thread, and let's look at our hackles, make sure we got them spread out. Okay, and there we have George Barnes' shitty fly, or the hairy leg sow bug. Very simple to tie, very effective. Does a good job when you're looking at a sow bug imitation.